Very early this year, Chelsea announced the signing of Hakim Ziyech from Ajax Amsterdam. The Moroccan international had been setting the whole continent on fire due to some truly remarkable displays for the Dutch giants. After nearly guiding them to Champions League glory a couple of years back, it was time for Ziyech to move on and take the next step in his playing career. But it still came as a surprise to a few people when the gifted player signed for Chelsea. The Blues had been quietly going about their business and, without letting anything add to the rumour mill, quickly sealed the deal for one of the most talented players in the game today. Dare we say, Ziyech might even go as far as Riyad Mahrez, a similar player who's already enjoying so much success for Man City. But that wasn't the only early transfer business Frank Lampard's side managed to conclude. Up front, the team needed a striker who was versatile enough to fill in a wide variety of attacking roles. In came Timo Werner. Yes, the German agreed to join the Blues before the previous season had concluded. During his time at RB Leipzig, the German international had already crafted a reputation as one of the best finishers in the game. With great speed, dribbling ability and a willingness to test the goalkeeper from all possible angles, the young striker is likely to become a huge star for the Londoners. And as the summer transfer window got into full swing, Chelsea had already beaten some of the biggest clubs to the signing of another young German talent, touted for major individual honours in the coming years. Kai Havertz is a very young player, but the manner in which he's been playing for Bayer Leverkusen belies his young age. The talented forward is as versatile as they come, filling in a wide variety of attacking roles. Chelsea decided to break their transfer record to bring in the German international, who's another player with immense potential. Defence has been Chelsea's Achilles heel in the last 12 months. While Kurt Zouma and Fikayo Tomori are really good options at the back, there is no depth in this department. Cesar Azpilicueta has also been slotted in as a centre-back from time to time, which goes on to show you the amount of trust Lampard has in the likes of Andreas Christensen and Rudiger. Thiago Silva was reportedly closer to joining Arsenal after being convinced by Brazilian international teammate David Luiz. However, the veteran defender was convinced into moving to Stamford Bridge by Frank Lampard. Kepa Arrizabalaga is pretty much always close to one calamitous error or another. Chelsea paid top money to sign the Spaniard, but the young shot-stopper seems to have been drained of all confidence and is no longer a reliable option at the back. While Lampard has been loyally defending Kepa in front of the media, the English tactician knew a backup option was necessary. Et voilà! Chelsea signed Edouard Mendy from Stade Rennais, who is now the preferred option. Marcos Alonso's performance levels have been severely impacted by inconsistencies. The Spaniard has been given a dose of reality with the big money signing of Ben Chilwell, who could finally be the man filling the void left by Ashley Cole's departure all those years ago. This season, after an understandably slow start, where the new signings were still getting used to the pace of the Premier League, Chelsea are getting better with each passing week. They've become a very potent side from the flanks, with Reece James playing behind Ziyech on the right and Chilwell linking up on the left with Timo Werner ahead of him. The recent 4-1 win over Sheffield United was a very important win, since all three summer signings, Werner, Chilwell and Silva, found the back of the net, while Ziyech had 2 assists to his name, including that deliciously whipped-in free kick that could have even found the back of the net had Silva just whistled at the ball. The win over Sheffield is also very important, since it was the first time Lampard won against Chris Wilder's side, and this was definitely by far their best performance of the season. The team is getting better at the wide play, and every time they were in the attacking phase, Chelsea looked dangerous. Ziyech was overwhelmingly voted man of the match, following a commanding display from the right side, where alongside Reece, the 27-year-old showed great enthusiasm to test the Blades' defence and stretch it out of shape. Down the left channel, there were some alarmingly good numbers as well. Although he is a left-back, Ben Chilwell had the most number of shots on target in the game, which of course included the shot that resulted in a goal. The England international made 2 key passes as well, and completed 72 passes, which is a very good number in any league on the planet. Werner's arrival had many people thinking about the prospects of Tammy Abraham. However, the youngster was always going to strike a chord with the German striker, and in the game against Sheffield, he kept ticking all the right boxes and played 4 key passes, a really good number, only bettered by guess who? Ziyech with 6. Ziyech was also the most fouled player in the game, being put to the ground 4 times. His ability to force players into illegally impeding him makes the Moroccan a real asset. And throw in his free kick ability from the right, and your team will always have a chance of scoring a goal. While Ziyech was definitely the most impressive performer on the pitch, you can also not ignore the performance of James, who whipped in 5 crosses alongside Mason Mount, who put in another great shift. For years, Thiago Silva has been one of the finest defenders the game has ever seen. At AC Milan, he was good. At Paris Saint-Germain, he became great and led from the back very capably. The Brazilian is a great ball-playing defender, and while he's lost quite a bit of his pace as he nears the end of his playing career, the veteran defender's passing stats are all about dominance. In the game against Sheffield, Silva played 117 passes, way more than the individual amount of passes made by any of the Blades players. A lot has been said about the future of N'Golo Kante. Apparently the Frenchman is not the type of player Lampard wants in his team. However, it's quite clear why the midfielder is so important for Chelsea. He was once again at his best against Sheffield, making sure to break up play and snuff out any opportunities that presented themselves. His heat map from that game clearly showed how capably Kante stuck to his tasks and was relentless when it came to pressuring the opposing players into conceding possession. Whenever needed, the World Cup winner would drop deep and help out the defence, pick up loose balls or receive passes from the defence, and quickly pass the ball to teammates further up the pitch. With such attributes, we're not really sure why Lampard would want to get rid of a player like Kante. Going forward, Chelsea would need strength in depth, and even if they're able to sign Declan Rice from West Ham this January, keeping Kante is very important. Not only were they relentless in attack, Chelsea were also dominant in possession, enjoying 70% of the share. Ahead of the game, Lampard's men were on a run of 5 consecutive clean sheets, and while that run did come to an end, this team has really come far from a side susceptible to scoring goals to becoming a solid unit at the back. The Blues have registered wins in their last 4 games and scored 14 goals in the process. They're now unbeaten in 8 games since that heartbreaking elimination from the Carabao Cup at the hands of Spurs via penalties. Following a huge spending spree, there were big expectations from Frank Lampard, and you can't really say anything against it either. We believe that this summer, following such a huge global issue, no club has backed their staff like Chelsea have for Lampard, so you can forgive owner Roman Abramovich from wanting big things. But at the same time, Lampard does need time to deliver on expectations. Lampard took over a club from Maurizio Sarri, whose Sarri ball methodology was never really bought by the fans and team management. Therefore, despite winning the Europa League, the Italian tactician was relieved of his duties and the club decided to bring back their former player. Arriving at a time when the club was banned from all transfer activity, Lampard relied heavily on the younger lot, who did very well in testing circumstances, and after ensuring Champions League football, the Englishman was given the vote of confidence, which was further strengthened by their transfer activity in the summer. While we're not saying that Frank Lampard is there yet, it is clear that he's doing something right. There's some pressure on Lampard to do something nice this season, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll have the ownership breathing down his neck. After doing wonders with obvious restraints, Lampard is still learning his trade when it comes to being an elite manager. A time will come when his team might hit a roadblock and would face a few bumps here and there. However, as long as the manager sticks to what he knows best and continues getting the best out of the talented attacking players he has at his disposal, the former midfielder has every chance to take this team far. The current Premier League table is a very strange one for sure. At the time of writing, Leicester are leading things again, but the likes of Tottenham and Aston Villa are looking to shake things up, with Jose Mourinho's side already hitting top gear. Man United are struggling, but with the Red Devils you never know for sure. Man City are in trouble as well, but you can bet Pep Guardiola will turn the tide. However, all eyes will be on Chelsea this season, and as long as they're able to stay consistent and manage to get the right results against tricky sides such as Sheffield, you can be sure that they'll have a big say in who ends up lifting the Premier League title in May next year, and who knows, they might be in the thick of things.